why am I doing this? I've been asked that question a number of times. Why go into a clinical trial where the drugs, they don't know for sure whether it's going to be as effective as the drugs that are normally used? It may be more effective, but quite frankly, it may be less effective. So why would I do this? When I got the diagnosis of triple negative, and I did the Google search, and while that has benefits, it's also what you find on the internet is very blunt in terms of what you might be facing. In terms of this kind of cancer, the bluntness was obvious. Prognosis is not as good. Don't know what causes it. Don't quite know how to treat it. And so my goal was really twofold. I'd like to think that I'm going through this and there may be some positive outcome at the end. I'd like to think that as my participation in a clinical trial, that maybe in the future other women, my daughter, people like you, don't have to get that kind of message that your prognosis isn't as good. I'd like to think there's going to be that outcome in the future where they do know and they can treat it as effectively as other forms of breast cancer. And then the other reason, quite frankly, is Dr. Norfelt, who came to me and said, here's the deal. I've got this experience and I can set a treatment protocol for you. And I knew he had experience because I also Googled him to make sure before I let some oncologist determine what my future was going to be, I was going to know what he was all about. So I had a great deal of confidence and trust in him. But he said to me, I can share with you my knowledge and experience, or you have an opportunity to participate in a clinical trial where the best cancer specialists in the world are coming together. Well, that was a no-brainer for me. Dr. Norfelt's good. I want the best. I wanted the opportunity to be treated by those who are committed to finding a cure for this kind of cancer. And so I said yes. And then ultimately, too, it will mean more follow-up than would traditionally occur. So it was twofold. A very selfish motive. I'm gonna live, and I want the best chance at that. And then for me, the thought that every time they put the drugs in my system, or every time I even get sick, that is information, and that information may help women down the road, that gives me tremendous energy. And I know it's that energy that's going to get me through this more successfully. So that's why I'm in the clinical trial.